Are you a new dungeon master? Maybe you'd like to start DMing, or maybe you've been DMing for a really long time, you're just looking for some ways to spice up your game and improve your craft. Well, if any of those are true, maybe we can help you out. My name is Sam, and this is Demystifying DMing. Our goal here on Demystifying DMing is to go through the process of dungeon mastering and help you go step by step through the process of creating, prepping, and running your own campaign, and give you some tips and tricks along the way. Some of these things will be more helpful for beginners, and some of these will be things that anyone can benefit from when it comes to running your game. Now, small disclaimer, I'm just one dungeon master, and there's really, aside from some extreme examples, no wrong way to play the game. So, if you have a different way of doing things, if there's something you like better, by all means, do it that way. And please, let me know. I love learning new points of view and new ways of doing things for D&D. I love constantly growing and learning in this process. In this video series, we're going to do a bunch of deep dives into specific topics in the process of DMing, starting from the very beginning of your campaign and starting your first session and prepping and world building, all the way up through running your day-to-day sessions and getting into specific ways you can improve your day-to-day gameplay. So, for now, I figured I'd get you all started with a list of tips that you can apply right into your game right away. Number one, the first one, and I think I'm going to end every video by saying this because it's so very important. I know a lot of DMs that get really concerned about their players and whether or not they're having enough fun, and wanting to make sure it's as good of an experience as possible, which, good for you. Wanting your players to have fun is very important, because unless you're playing a one-on-one game, they are well over half the group of people playing. But, tip number one, very important here, your players are always having more fun than you think they are. I'll say it again. Your players are having more fun than you think they are. At the end of the day, you're playing D&D. If you think about when you play D&D, when someone else is DMing, you're just generally happy to be playing, right? You're just excited to have the character sheet and the dice in front of you and be at a table with people you enjoy spending time with. At the end of the day, that's going to be where the fun comes from. The fact that you're there and willing to DM and putting together a story and creating NPCs and adventures and encounters and all of these other things is fantastic. And the fact that you're putting it together at all, your players appreciate. And they're happy to be doing it. So, in the moments where your players are deliberating or discussing or there's a quiet moment at the table, don't think like, oh no, they're not having any fun, it's terrible, no one is having fun, oh no, oh god, what do I do, what do I do, how do I make it fun, what do I do to pack all the fun in that I can? Don't do that. Because, generally speaking, if you're trying to cram and pack as much fun in as possible, you're gonna end up doing things like railroading or interrupting the players when they're actually enjoying themselves and having fun. Ease up a little bit, don't be afraid to let them have some quiet time, some think time, or even discuss things with some NPCs. If your players are talking to each other, and it's in character, that's great, that's good, they're playing the game. Just because they're not getting to your next plot point or something, or moving the story forward, doesn't mean they're not having fun. Those things will come with time. And think about it this way, if they're taking a while to get to those things are still there, they'll get to them. That just means that there's more things to do in the future, and less you have to prep, because they're having a lot of fun talking to the shopkeeper for 2 hours. That means the dungeon you have prepped outside of town, still going to be there, ready for them whenever, and even if this takes you to the end of a session, next time you play, you still got that ready. So, ease back, let them have some fun, and nothing's wrong with a little bit of quiet time if they're thinking. Now, sometimes there are times when you want to interrupt and throw some hooks in, interrupt them with an encounter or something, but for the most part, just trust that your players are having fun and allow yourself to relax and go with the flow. Second, and this one is for encounter building. We'll get to this a lot more in the future with future videos. Generally speaking, right now, I have one big thing for you. And this comes from personal experience and knowing other DMs as well, which is not every encounter needs to be a challenge. Encounters have a lot of purpose. Narratively, they should have purpose. And providing challenge to the players is one purpose, but it shouldn't be the purpose of every encounter. Put yourself in the shoes of a player. Imagine that every single encounter you get to is deadly, super hard, ridiculously difficult, taxes you to your limit, you have to be completely on, make no mistakes, make absolute best use of your abilities, and even then still roll well. That'd be so stressful, wouldn't it? Now I'm talking generally here. If your table is into Dark Souls level, soul-crushing difficulty, good, have fun, enjoy it. But that's what everyone's signed up for. Generally, unless your whole table is signed up for that, you want to ease off. It may seem sometimes like easy encounters don't have a purpose. It's like, what's the point? The players just smash their way right through this. Well, for players, that can be fun occasionally. Easy encounters are a way for you as the DM to let the players feel awesome. Let them feel like they get to use their abilities to their fullest extent and really be superheroes, basically. Super cool. Now, in something like a horror campaign, you might not want them to necessarily feel like superheroes, but managing tension and ups and downs are very important, even in that. So you want to have encounters that they can do. So when they get to the difficult encounter, there's a difference, there's a contrast there between the two, and they can really feel that difference. Number 3, this is a big one. If you feel like you are flying by the seat of your pants and your players are about to figure out at any minute that you're a sham and you have no idea what you're doing, congratulations, that's called being a DM for the most part. Every single DM feels that way at some point or another. Eventually, after you've been doing this for long enough, you come to realize that, yeah, there's no real right way to DM and you're never going to feel perfectly prepared, and you kind of just learn to accept it. But especially when you're starting out, you can really feel like, oh no, what am I doing? I'm terrible at this, my players are going to figure out any second. There is no such thing as a perfect DM, and to go back to point 1, your players are probably having more fun than you think they are. If your players are enjoying themselves, if they're having fun, that's the important part. The imposter syndrome can be very real, and it's important to remember that at the end of the day, if your players are smiling, laughing, getting into the characters, having fun, feeling invested in the world, feeling invested in your encounters, then you're doing a great job. Now you might say, but Sam, I just got to a section where my players just ran completely off the rails and I had to make it up as I went. Well, did they have fun doing that? Because if so, you just did a great job at improvising an adventure. That's awesome. Improvisational skills are super important. You can never prepare for everything, and the ability to make stuff up and fly by the seat of your pants is like a key skill in being a DM, so congratulations. Alright, disclaimer here, these last 2 I cannot claim full credit for. I found them online, and they're really big sayings right now in the D&D community. I just personally love these and want to make sure that I emphasize how much I think they should be included in every game. This is advice I think every DM should follow. But again, I can't claim credit. Number 4 is play to find out what happens. Basically what that means is, if you go into a session and you know exactly where it's going to start, you know exactly where it's going to end, you know exactly everything that's going to happen in between, you're a very good novelist, but that's not necessarily the best game of D&D. Because if you're not allowing the players to make real change in the process and surprise you and change the course of things, they might get a little frustrated. It can be frustrating if you're playing a game and you feel like none of your choices matter and nothing you do is going to change things and you're just on this track moving forward and progressing you through a story. Now, not to say some railroading isn't important, and I will get to railroading in the future because I don't want railroading to necessarily be a dirty word. There are some times where it can be necessary. Because, you know, otherwise, without it, there would be no direction. However, it is important to make sure that you can be surprised when you're playing this game. Because, 1, it means that your players feel like they have agency, like they have choice, like they can make changes in what happens. And 2, big one here, you will have more fun. You'll enjoy yourself more if you don't know where things are going to go. If it's a mystery to you. It's like reading a book. If you know exactly how the book is going to end when you first started, it's less fun. Think of it like self-imposed spoilers. You don't want to spoil the session for yourself by planning it out so specifically. So make sure you leave some wiggle room. Make sure you can leave it for the players to make decisions and surprise you. And does that sometimes mean that you have to rework things and change stuff in your prep and you might have to go back and rethink things? Yeah, it does. But that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to DMing and prepping for a bunch of players. It is like herding cats sometimes. Number 5, last one, and I cannot claim credit for this, but I love it so much. Be a fan of your players. Be their biggest fan. Even when you are pretending to be the villain, the evil mastermind behind everything, and that character wants to ruin their lives and kill their families and see them in misery, you should be rooting for them to succeed and win. Because, for the most part, the action doesn't continue without them. They're the main characters, they're the players, they're the point of view here, and without them, there's not really a story. Sure, they can make backup characters, but once we get to those backup characters, we're back in the same place again. So, be a fan of your players. Want them to succeed, but put obstacles in their way, because you want them to have fun, you want it to be a challenge. It's a delicate balance here, and that's what makes it hard. It's not about making it super easy so they can succeed at everything, or super hard so you can kill them, because both of those are really easy to do as a DM. You can either just give them challenges way under what they're capable of, or give them challenges way over what they're capable of. The difficult thing is finding that sweet spot right in the middle, right at the point where you can create the greatest challenge that they will get through by the skin of their teeth, but still succeed. That is the greatest challenge as a DM. You can only do that by being a fan of your players and wanting them to succeed. Alright folks, hopefully you enjoyed our first episode of Demystifying D&D. My name is Sam, and you can always find me on the Mimics and Monstrosities channel, either on Sundays running my own game, or on Wednesdays playing as Ash the Pirate. Feel free to stop by the channel, watch our other videos, or stop by the Discord and join us in some discussions. The links to all of those should be down below, and all of our VODs should be available on this YouTube channel as well. So until next time, remember, your players are having more fun than you think they are. Have a good day, everybody.